Sports Network.
Hello and welcome everyone to the weekly wrap special edition here on a pre-draft day 2. We are rounds 2 and 3, an hour away. Welcome in. I hope we're all rested from last night's festivities. Hope you all had a great end to your week. We're rolling into the weekend. May is right around the corner, and we are here at the Come On In Sports Network all night with you with all the draft news, notes, discussion, thoughts, reactions, everything you want. We got it to Come On In Sports Network. So welcome in, guys. This is our pre-draft show, and I'll be leading right up into the draft to start at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. It will be rounds 2 and 3. Dolph and Cowboy will be leading that one. And then obviously from last night, who else knows who's going to show up? A special guest last night, Orlando Ledbetter. Thanks for stopping by as well. So hope everyone having a great day. Hopefully we got 8 teams that haven't made a pick yet, so a quarter of the league, really. So hopefully those fan bases get to see something that excites them tonight. But I know I'm excited. My Bills have some ammo after trading back 3 times yesterday. But we've also had 24 hours, nearly 24 hours to digest everything that went on in round 1, which will leads off what we're going to discuss today. Is first and foremost, most everybody's talking about the Rams and their selection of Ty Simpson at 13. Multiple reasons they're talking about that. Number one is obviously very surprising that he was drafted there, I think, to a lot of people. But also Sean McVay's reaction. I'm not a facial recognition guy, but a lot of people seem to read the tea leaves of what at the press conference they had after they drafted him. And a lot of people are like, oh man, you can see the steam coming out of his ears. He didn't look very enthused. So imagine there's a little rift there between him and Les Snead about what that pick should have been. But with 24 hours to digest it, I personally I think it's a good move for the Rams. They don't have any desperate needs. Yeah, they could have used another wide receiver. They can get one. Wide receivers deep this year. They got their cornerbacks addressed. I mean, they could always use depth along other things. But they got a quarterback of the future. And that what they can do with that is, let's say Stafford retires after this year. Well, now they don't have to go get and draft a young guy and have him develop. He's developed. He'll have been in the system for the year. He'll have been with McVay for a year. So I think they realize, hey, Ty Simpson can run this offense. Let's give him at least a year to just sit and marinate and develop behind one of the best to ever do it in Matt Stafford, behind and with one of the best offensive minds of this generation in Sean McVay. And whenever Stafford retires, if that's a year from now or 2 years from now, Simpson's ready to go. And I know in today's day and age, that's like unheard of for a first-round quarterback to sit that long. But that's how it used to get done. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. Phillip Rivers sat for a year. Even Patrick Mahomes sat for a year behind Alex Smith. So it's not unprecedented. And I think it's very smart by the Rams. Yeah, it's not going to really, unless Stafford gets hurt, it's not going to help them this year. But it's going to help them 5 years from now. So a lot of flack going there. It'll be interesting to see the relationship and how it develops between Ty Simpson and Sean McVay. Especially, there's no way Ty Simpson is unaware of Sean McVay's reactions and talk about that going on. Another one of the funny things that came out of last night was Sadiq, the tight end that got drafted to the Jets, thinking that when they called it, he thought it was a prank call. I thought that was pretty funny. If you haven't had a chance to watch that one, draft day calls, if you're able to get the video of them, like when they teams and they're called to draft, those are so awesome to watch. Just the pure emotion. You're going to see like a lifetime of work and sacrifice, not just for like of the player themselves, but you always hear and you always know it's the families and friends around them who supported them, brought them to the 7-on-7 camps, brought them to training facilities and summer workouts, spring workouts, all the games. So it's nice to see those just pure and genuine reactions. So I love to see those post draft that maybe we don't get to see live. Also had it was funny how Malachi Lawrence, I'm not sorry, Makai Lemon was on the phone with the Steelers. They were thinking they were going to get him, and then the Eagles trade up to get him. So I thought that was also pretty interesting. They kind of have a video of that too, of he's on the phone with the Steelers and thinking, all right, the Cowboys aren't going to take him, and then boom, there's the Eagles, and he's going to Philadelphia. Again, that puts the writing on the wall for AJ Brown, which everybody at this point kind of knows he's going to New England. So a lot of good news there. Extensions, even in between draft, the day 1 and day 2, Jaden Reed signed an extension with the Packers. So I mean, they're deep wide receiver room. They have Watson, Golden, Jaden Reed. They have Sky Moore now. You know, they got Dobbs got free agent to the Patriots, but they always load ups, and they have pretty deep and solid wide receiver core. So just some non-draft news today. The Mike Vrabel thing just gets weirder and weirder the more that leaks out and comes out from that. The whole, like, Diana Rossini posting a few years ago about her son and how he's named Michael, and then she tweeted, or I don't remember Twitter or Instagram, but she posted something on social media saying, I wonder how many Michaels like have been, you know, like a coach and player, and everyone's connecting dots of the boy was named after Mike Vrabel. And then Albert Breer was talking on a podcast about how the last few weeks, Vrabel has kind of not been the same guy at the facility. And of course he's not. Like, all this is coming out. He has a family. She has a family. But it's just a whole situation. I bet the Patriots, we signed you as our coach, thought that was going to be it for the clown show, but man. Saints and Giants have had trade talks for edge Kayvon Thibodeaux. If we can get him for cheap, I take it then. Yeah, I would have to imagine the Giants have, like, they got to trade one of them. Like, I know you never can have enough pass rushers, but 4 seems like an awful lot. And it seems like they should be able to get something really good in return for Thibodeaux. They obviously drafted Abdul Carter last year. They drafted this year. They got another one, and then Brian Burns, they signed a free agency. I'm just pulling up Twitter on my phone to make X, just to make sure I'm not missing anything that goes on. A lot of the teams at the top of the second round have been contacted about trading for it. Thank you, Normal Guy. Appreciate the like. Appreciate you always dropping in and throwing some thoughts and questions in the chat. Love it. That helps me. Helps anybody if you ever do a show, like having them do that. But I thought the Giants had a really good first round. Let me pull up my notes from last night. The Giants had obviously picks 5 and 10. Out of 10 they got with the trade. They drafted Arvell Reese at 5. That's the one that maybe Normal Guy's talking about with being able to trade Thibodeaux now that they got that. I would do it if I were them. And then Francis Mauigoa at 10. So I think the Giants had a heck of a first day of the draft for sure. Other teams that had a really solid, I think the Jets had a really good first day of the draft. The Jets with number 2 pick, they had their choice of everybody but Mendoza. They drafted Bailey the edge, right? And the whole talk was either him or Arvell Reese. They chose Bailey. They stayed put at 16 and took Sadiq, the top-rated tight end in the draft. So whoever their quarterback ends up being, probably next year when they have 3 first-round picks, they'll get whoever they want. And then they made a move at the end of the first round and got another pick. They traded with the Niners at 30, and they got Omar Cooper Jr. To go along with Malik Neighbors. So they got two really good weapons to go along with Neighbors. They drafted one of the better offensive linemen to start offering Jackson Dart some protection. That's a pretty solid draft already. But a lot of good people left in this draft too. So let me put this up here. We're going to share this. We see there are the top players left on the board according to ESPN's rankings. Emmanuel Michael Warren, there's been a lot of connection of him going to the Bills and people comparing him to Inamoro, the safety from the Seahawks, who had a heck of a rookie year. I don't know how I'd feel about that for Buffalo because they already have Bishop there, who kind of who established himself last year. Signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Geno Stone. They re-signed DeMar Hamlin. But we'll see how it goes there. Denzel Boston's still a really good receiver. Left there, Kid McDonald, who ended up not being drafted, even though he's in the green room. And good for him that he stayed. I mean, you're already there. Hood, the corner, who thought that he was going to get Colton Hood. You see them there at number 8. He was in the green room. He decided not to stay. But Cade McDonald, he stayed, and he'll get picked pretty early in round 2, I would imagine. It'll be awesome to see him. I imagine the fans there will give him a pretty good round of applause for probably having a really rough night. You know, like anybody that goes to night 1 of the draft, you assume you're going to get picked. I honestly thought the person who wouldn't be would maybe Ty Simpson, but that proved to not be true. But we see Zion Young, a good edge there. Cassius Howe, a lot of people had him projected in the first round. And is not shown there is Jermod McCoy. Coming off the injury, didn't play last year. Obviously, that hurt him. Andre, welcome back, man. Good to see you again. Hope you had a great Friday. Good to see you on night 2 of the draft. Who stole day 1 for you? Oh, like if you mean who had the best, I honestly think the Jets got to be up there. The Chiefs, they got the best cornerback, and they didn't have to give up their other first-round pick to move up to get him, and they drafted one of the top defensive tackles. So, I mean, it pains me to say that the Chiefs had a good first day. So let's talk about your Packers. First of all, Andre, you signed, Jaden Reed to an extension today, right? So what do you think about that extension? Think about Jaden Reed. Yeah, he agreed to a 3-year, $50.25 million contract extension, $20 million of it guaranteed. But where do the Packers stand today? Let's see. The Packers. Where's their little emblem? Packers. They have the 20th pick in the 3rd round, which will be 52 overall. So be very interested to see what goes on there. Not a fan of that Reed contract. My number 1 priority is Tucker Kraft. Yeah, he's a really good tight end. I like him a lot. But what do you want the Packers to get? Like, what's your positionally, what you're looking for to get, Andre? And then I'll just share this screen quick. Just so everyone can, I'll put up the share screen. There we go. That is the top of the 2nd round. You can see who's picking there at the top. Andre, I'm hoping my Bills beat you to that one. Yeah, I'm at this point. I'm a big fan of Rodriguez being picked for my Bills, and we got the third pick in the second round. So I'm really hoping I'd be absolutely 100% okay with that. Yep, I'm seeing Andre too that Jordan Schultz is the one. I see him reporting that they're talking to the Saints about trading for Thibodeau. That'd be. I mean, I wonder what they give up for him. That'd be a really interesting thing. But let's look at the top of the second round. We got the Niners with the first pick, and there's been a lot of chatter about teams wanting to move up. It's been reported. I think it was Jordan Schultz actually who reported um, teams are calling the Niners, Cardinals, and Bills looking to move up. A lot of good pass rushers still, especially for the second round. You got a lot of the D tackles didn't get drafted, so they fell out of the first round. A lot of good value there, some good receivers left. Cardinals, obviously, they can make. Are they possibility to get a quarterback? Andre says our offenses are similar as far as the receiver room. We both just want an elite receiver. Yeah, I would probably take yours over mine, though. You're tired? Yeah, I would. I'll be interested to see how Golden. I kind of thought he underperformed last year, but I'm a big Christian Watson fan. I liked Romeo Dobbs. I know he left to the Patriots, but I was a big fan of his. Yeah, when it's crunch time, it's really evident the teams that do and don't have that just go-to dog at the receiver position. So I'm hoping DJ Moore can be that because I know he didn't have a great statistical year last year. But I remember in the playoffs, like he had that big touchdown catch against the Packers. Caleb Williams looked at him when it mattered, so I hope that shows that. And Andre, admit that hopefully for you guys, that's like a catalyst, right, to this year. That's all you want. Like I remember when receivers, it was like year 3 was like when receivers were expected to bust out. As a Bills fan, I remember like the first 3 years we had Eric Mulder. Like, man, why do we draft this guy? And then in year 3, him and Flutie exploded onto the scene. We got the Niners with the first pick of the second round, Cardinals at 2, Bills at 3, Raiders at 4. Wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to they need to get a pass catcher for Mendoza, I think. Like they traded away Jacoby Myers. They have good tight ends. They got obviously Brock Bowers. I like Michael Mayer as well. They have Ashton Jensen. So I think they need to get one of the receivers, whether it be Denzel Boston, whether it be Bell, one of those. Yeah, I have no idea what we saw in Keon Coleman. And he has had flashes. Like last year in the opener, the Sunday night comeback against the Ravens, he had over 100 yards, touchdown catch, clutch catches. Before he got hurt in his rookie year, he had put up the game against Seattle was really good on the road. And then he got hurt and never was the same after that. And obviously he's been benched a couple times for being late to meetings already in 2 years. So I know like Thibodeau was being mentioned in trade. I would be okay with trading Coleman and getting a pick and to be like, I think a change of scenery is good for you, guy. I really would. But that's the top of the second round. Yeah, that's the problem with Kincaid is like he has a knee issue. It's documented, but he doesn't want to have a procedure done on it in the offseason. And already this year, Brady and Bean have already talked about load management for him in training camp in the season. Like, dude, if we're already having to talk about that and it's not even mandatory minicamp, we haven't even hit the draft yet, get the procedure done. Because they drafted him for his explosiveness and just like he's so limited because of that knee. Just get the procedure done. Yeah, it's not good, Andre. It's not good. DJ Moore is pretty much the same player as Shakir. Well, Shakir can be so much more. Other than last year, if you go back and look what he did so much downfield, and then last year for some reason, like he just became a screen merchant. But go back and watch the years before that, like Shakir's downfield making plays. Yeah, every once in a while, throw him a screen because he doesn't get tackled by the first guy. Like he has such great balance and like contact balance and like knowing where he needs to go. And that's even from his rookie year, even though we didn't get many chances his rookie year, he stepped up when he had the chance. So I know, and the part of the reason I wasn't happy about Brady getting tagged as the one to replace McDermott is because of like what the passing game had been. Now maybe it's a lack of weapons there where they couldn't do what they wanted to do, but now it's Brady's show. So if he wants the offense to do that, he can. Uncle Jerry, welcome in. Good to see you. Welcome back, Uncle Jerry. Uncle Jerry is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. Andre's in the house. Welcome in as well. But yes, the Come On In Sports Network is here with you throughout day 2 of the draft, rounds 2 and 3. This is the Weekly Wrap Special Edition pre-draft show. I'll be leading you right into the draft at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Dolph and Cowboy will be holding things down with special guests sprinkled in along the way. Hope you're all able to join us again tonight. Uncle Jerry. Andre just pointed me to a tweet by Jordan Schultz saying the Saints and Giants are discussing a trade for Kayvon Thibodeau. So what do you think about that, Uncle Jerry, if the Saints are able to swing a trade for him, the former first-round pick? Nick Underhill, even for you Saints fans, I think he's one of your top voices. Nick Underhill said this has been a long-going conversation. Tires were kicked back in February. I think the price might have to dip a little to make it happen. But it seems like there's something there. You see no trade, but you do want an edge rusher. So let's see. Where are the Saints? I'll bring that screen back up. Let's see where the Saints are. Where do the Saints pick? Oops. Tonight. Where are you? Round by round. There we go. Let's see. The Saints. You have the 10th pick in the second round. You have any more in the second round? That's it. So who are the edges? Let's pull up our edge people. Pulling up the edge. I'll put that up on the screen as well. So let's pull that up. Let's see who the edges are. Where are the edges? Share screen. There we go. Remaining players. There we go. Edges, we got Zion Young, Cassius Howell, Gabe Lucas, TJ Parker, R. Mason Thomas. So which one of those strike your fancy, Uncle Jerry? Cassius Howell, it's got to just be his arm length, right? A lot of people had him as a late first rounder, but he was consistently in there. I didn't really see him falling out of the first a lot. TJ Parker, I think, is intriguing as well. I also like R. Mason Thomas. I don't think he's as explosive as Cassius Howell, and also I don't think his arms are as crazy long either. If that was the whole issue with Cassius. So Uncle Jerry, Andre, who we want, who we think. If I'm the Saints, I think I would. If Cassius Howell was there, I would take him out of all of them if I had a choice. Arm length be, not all that matters. Like his bend and around the edge, that can't be taught. You can teach him how to be able to overcome his arm length. And he was in the SEC, and he did just fine against some of the best talent in the country. A lot of players who will be either in the NFL or right on the fringe in training camp. So, yeah, measurables matter, but it can't be the only thing. Tape's got to matter. Plays got to matter. So those are the top edges. What else we got? Let's see who the top receivers are. Obviously, Denzel Boston is ESPN's best remaining one. They had him as the 4th ranked receiver in the draft. Let's take a look after him. Wide receiver is one of the deepest positions in the draft. Let's see what Zachariah Branch there from Georgia, Chris Brazell, Jeremy Bernard, Antonio Williams, Malachi Fields, Ted Hurst, Skylar Bell from UConn, Elijah Barrett, Chris Bell from Louisville. That's the one that if Chris Bell doesn't have his ACL injury, how much higher is he? Bell, to me, I don't know how Andre feels about this being a Packers fan. Bell would be the type of player, if I'm a Packers fan, I'd be okay taking, because if he was healthy, he wouldn't be there. And you don't have to force him in. You can let him ease back from the injury, and he could be one of the steals of the draft. But a lot of good talent there. Like, then obviously Bryce Lance, you see there. Yes, that is Trey Lance's brother, but I've seen a lot of articles saying if that's all you know him as, you'll soon find out he's a lot more than that. $44. But which one of these receivers would you be okay with? $43. But welcome in, everybody. We are the Come On In Sports Network. For everybody just joining us, whether you be on YouTube, Twitch, we are on X as well, and Facebook. So lots of different ways you could be watching. Thanks for dropping in. If you haven't done so yet, drop us a follow, drop us a like, subscribe to our channels. We are live throughout the week. Lots of different things we offer. We got Saints Talk with the Come On In Saints, the Daily Juice with Dolph, Coach Rock with there with them, Uneducated Sports Talk with Carlos and TJ. You got Zach and Nan always doing some NBA or cricket stuff. So a lot of not just football, just for the Come On In Sports Network, but football being the main bread and butter. But you saw yesterday, D. Orlando Ledbetter came on the show. So you never know who we're going to have there with us. I am Lawrence Foster with a weekly wrap special edition. We are usually on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. With this, we've been doing it for just about a month now. A lot of people come in on Sunday nights. Hope it's a nice, like, chill atmosphere. Talk about what went on during the week. This is just special edition tonight, leading up to the draft, round 2, day 2, rounds 2 and 3. I have Twitter up on the left to make sure I'm not missing anything that breaks. Obviously, the news if there's some sort of talk between Saints and the Giants about Kayvon Thibodeau. Pro Football Talk says Giants talking to Saints and others about Kayvon Thibodeau. I'd be okay with the Bills doing something to get him. I'd be okay with that. But come on, guys, what do your teams need? What do they want? Are you happy with how day 1 went? Is your team one of the ones that didn't have a first round pick or traded out of it if they chose to do so? 8 teams did not make a pick yesterday. That's 1/4 of the league. So a lot of fan bases waiting anxiously overnight through the day to see what their team does today. The Jets had 3 picks in the first round. They also have 3 next year. So that's pretty good for them that they were able to get that extra first round pick without having to give up next year's first. And all the discussion at the top of the second round, you imagine somebody like the Niners got the first pick, Cardinals second, Bills third. It might take someone might get a first round pick next year out of that. Yeah, you got to wait for it to pay off, but like the Niners and Bills, especially, like they're not desperate teams. The Cardinals are in a different situation. If I'm the Cardinals, I would trade up. I would trade back to get an extra first. Right, but the Bills and Niners, they can be like, hey, we don't need this pick. We can get a first next year. We got a solid foundation. What can we do with 2 firsts next year? Right, the Cardinals, while they could use a first next year, also are in a we need a lot of stuff now mode. So I think there'll be just as much wheeling and dealing tonight, especially at the top of the first. And then I think between day 2 and 3, between the third and fourth round, there'll be some more moves about players that fell out of the third round into the fourth. So that top of the fourth round is going to be a desirable position as well. What veterans are going to get traded tonight? That's an interesting thing as well. Obviously, Kayvon Thibodeaux being mentioned, even though it's not going to happen. Now we'll wait till after June 1st because of salary cap reasons. A.J. Brown is all but a foregone conclusion that he'll be gone. So I think we should talk now about quarterbacks. 2 are taken in the first round. Who is going to be the next? So these are remaining quarterbacks. Garrett Nussmeier, who heading into the season, a lot of people predicted him to be one of the top picks in the draft, let alone quarterback, but he didn't have his best year. Reported that he had a core injury, came out in the last week or so that he had a core injury. Carson Beck went through a lot as a quarterback, still brought the U to the national championship game, was a winner at Georgia, was blamed for a lot of stuff, but proved in Miami that, hey, he can do it. He can handle the spotlight. Drew Aller, third best quarterback according to ESPN. And the one that really intrigues me is Taylen Green. So athletic. That'd be somebody like, if I'm a team that needs like a developmental guy, I would take him. Like somebody like who has an established guy who's not going to be threatened by Taylen Green, but there was a general manager, I can't remember who it was, who said that they always plan on taking quarterback every year. Because if they can become anything, quarterbacks are the most important position in the league. Even if it's like a solid backup, that's that's tradable right there. So you always can recoup something for it. And it doesn't hurt to have a solid backup either for your starter. So which of these quarterbacks is going to be the first one? Is there going to be anyone taken in the second round? Do the Cardinals, with the second pick of the second round, do they take one of these guys? Because where do they sit? Let's look where they sit in this. So they have the second pick of the second round, so they can get whichever quarterback they want there. They do not have another one in the second round. Let's pull up the third. They got the top pick in the third round. So that'd be really interesting for them. Like, I think that they end up with a quarterback by the end of tonight. I really think they do. They need one. Who did they draft yesterday? Let's pull that up quick. The Cardinals took Jeremiah Love. A lot of people didn't think they would. They took what some people consider just regardless of position, the best player in the draft with Jeremiah Love. And you got to feel a little bit for Tyler Algier, right? He had a really good rookie year for the Falcons, and then what did the Falcons do? The next year they take Bijan Robinson. So Algier's behind Bijan for 2 years. Goes to the Cardinals. James Conner's coming off an injury. He's long in the tooth. He's thinking, all right, I'm going to get my I'm going to get my due right here. And then what did the Cardinals do? They go and draft Jeremiah Love. So he's in the same boat as he was with the Falcons when they took Bijan. He's going to be playing second fiddle at best. Because James Conner is one of the most beloved Cardinals of this era. Right? He's been their workhorse for the past few years. Love his story as well about what he's overcome in his life. So gotta love James Conner. But you gotta feel for Tyler Algier that he left the position. He left the Falcons. Like, all right, this is my chance to shine. And here comes Love. Yeah. So wonder if he might be a trade candidate for tonight. But we are the Come On In Sports Network, guys. We got people hanging out in the chat. Please drop any questions, thoughts, whatever you might have in there. We'll put a topic up for us to discuss. Let's create a banner here. So let's get this up there and talk about it. Who is going to be the round 2 steal? Which one of these players that fell out of the first round that didn't hear their name called going to have that chip on their shoulder thinking, man, I should have been there. I should have been hugging Roger. I should have had that phone call night 1 when they set attendance record in Pittsburgh for the first night of the draft. Who is it going to be? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be one of the quarterbacks? Is it going to be Emmanuel McNeil-Warren? Who do y'all think it's going to be? Let me know. Let me know. Pull up the best available here. Share screen on that. So this is the best overall players remaining according to ESPN. But who's going to be the round 2 steal? You get Jamal McCoy, who injury notwithstanding, I think he would have been easily a first-round pick. It's hard to believe there's only 2 cornerbacks taken, period. For as much as, like, you see teams saying, like, man, we got how often are you in nickel, right? You have 3 corners on the field quite a bit in the NFL. At least 3 corners, quite a bit. So I think you'll see a run on him today. Colton Hood, who is the 8th ranked one there, was in the draft room night 1. So, he's wherever he goes, he's going to be playing with a huge chip on his shoulder. Cassius Howell was widely projected to be a first-round edge out of Texas A&M. He fell. Got to be because of his arm length. Cade McDonald, he decided to stay. He was also in the green room last night, and he stayed. He's going to get his chance to go on stage and hug Roger Goodell and get the cheering and encouragement from all the fans at night 2. But if I'm going to say who's going to be the round 2 steal, let's analyze this really quickly. Who is somebody I like? I love him. I love Jacob Rodriguez. I think he's going to be the steal. Inside linebackers aren't valued terribly high. But this guy, through the whole process, listen to his interviews. I love watching the interviews and hearing them, like when they're on the radio. Like SiriusXM gets a lot of these draft prospects to get on their shows. I heard a lot from Francis Mariota. They had Trotter on the other day. Keon Black, the running back out of Indiana. So I love listening to them when they're live. You can hear what the thought process. You can kind of hear what type of player and person they are. Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Texas Tech, Jacob Rodriguez. He is my steal of round 2. I don't think, like, they have him rated as the 18th best remaining player. I don't think he gets anywhere near. He doesn't fall anywhere near that far. I hope not. As a Bills fan, I hope. And I would love to see him as our inside linebacker. That's one of our weakest areas on the defense. Bernard has not been the same. Injury, whatever it may be, he just does not seem like the same player he was a few years ago. I'm not sold on Dorian Williams. I would love Jacob Rodriguez in a Bills uniform. My watch keeps on thinking that I am talking to it. I am not. Sorry, watch. Niners are getting calls for their pick. Let's see. The Patriots confirmed that Will Campbell is their left tackle. Caleb Lemieux has versatility. Read between the lines. I think that's going to be if Will Campbell struggles again, watch out for Lemieux going on the left side. But I'm looking at Dane Brugler as best available. He also has Jermon McCoy right up near the top of the best available. He has Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Denzel Boston, Avion Terrell, Colton Hood. He has the fifth best player left. So very, very similar. No Cassius Howell, though. He doesn't have him in his top 10 remaining players. That's kind of surprising. But no trades as of yet. We're 20 minutes away from the start of night 2 of the NFL draft. Make sure you stay tuned to the Come On In Sports Network for all your draft night coverage, round 2 and 3. Every pick, every trade, every bit of drama will be covered by Dolph and Cowboy, plus whoever else joins them. You never know who's going to stop in. Our name means something. Come on in means come on in. Lots of people know that, take advantage of it, and they come in. They get their thoughts in. They talk with the guys, and then they head back to doing what they're doing, to their draft party, to their celebration, to their wedding, whatever it may be. That's my steal, Jacob Rodriguez, guys. Who do we think is the best player left? Who's going to be that steal? A lot of people like Keontae Scott, the cornerback from Miami. Christian Miller, I think a really good defensive tackle. I could see him being a steal. We're less than 20 minutes away. My Uncle Jerry in the building. Andre's been in there. Come on in sports. Thanks to everybody for dropping in, dropping the likes. What are your thoughts? What do you need? Like, what do you want your team to do? You have like a rival team, you really don't want them to get somebody. There's going to be a lot of trade action. I don't know who they're going to be moving for. Like McDonald is obviously one of the names I think will go early. I think somebody might move in front of Buffalo for Rodriguez as well. If the Niners just don't outright take him, or the Cardinals, they need a linebacker too. But I think moving in front of Buffalo for either edge or linebacker is going to be the move if you want to get who you want tonight. Because very obviously the Bills need and want that. But no, the Niners, let's pull up what they need. Where are the Niners? Pull them up real quick. So we're going to add the Niners. Where are you, Niners? NFC West. There we go. Let's add this up here. So let's take a look. The Niners and Cardinals had the first 2 picks. So what are their needs? What do they still need? The Niners didn't make a pick last night. They traded out. So they still need offensive tackle. They still need edge. They can get Cassius Howard. They can get Zion Young. They could probably trade back a little bit and still get that. So I think the Niners are all about getting more picks. So look at obviously this was before yesterday. We made this from a few weeks ago. So they traded out of 27. They have 2 second-round picks at least. The Cardinals, they need quarterback still, offensive tackle, edge, and safety. They took running back. So they still need all those positions. So I think that's a realistic thing there for Cassius Howard, Zion Young, or maybe TJ Parker. I don't know if they go Parker because of kind of how Hassan Reddick didn't really work out for them. Somebody who seemed like a little bit of a tweener and didn't end up panning out to the Cardinals. I wonder if they might be able to have might be a little shy on doing that again so soon. And I guess we can just look at the rest of the division. The Seahawks took the running back. They took Jadarian Price at the last pick of the first round. They have 2 picks a day, but that is it until round 6. So they still need an edge, a corner, wide receiver. Wonder if they might try to move up and get one. Or I could see the Seahawks being one of the ones that doesn't get a receiver and then goes and gets like a Stephon Diggs, somebody that can just come in and do what needs to be done. So we'll just go through division by division and see what's going on. So that's the NFC West. Let's pull up next. We'll just go down in alphabetical order. I have it on my screen. Let's go with the AFC East. AFC East, the Patriots, they traded up with the Bills from 30 to get in front of Kansas City and get Caleb Lemieux. So they got their offensive tackle. They still have pick 31, I think. Let's take a look quick, make sure they do. Yeah, they still have the 31st pick in the second round. So there's a lot of D tackles left. Someone like Christian Miller might fall to them. So they could really fill all their needs because there's only one tight end drafted. So there's still Eli Stover still available, I think. Let's look at tight ends. Yeah, Eli Stover is still available. Max Clare, Sam Roush. So yeah, the Patriots can really get all their needs filled again. The Jets, let's look at their needs. Obviously, we did this on our show 2 Sundays ago, so some of these have been filled. They took the edge. They took care of that with Bailey. Could they get another one? Sure. They got a wide receiver. They traded back into the first round to get Omar Cooper Jr. It wasn't listed there, but tight end. They got the best tight end in the draft. So really, they just need to continue to work on their offensive line and get a quarterback. And with what they have available, I think that'd be a great spot with their round 2, like the 12th pick in the second round. I think they still have that one. I don't think they gave that up. Yeah, they still got that. So they have the 12th pick in the second round. I think that'd be a great spot to get a quarterback. One of Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller, Beck, like whichever one they want. And the Bills, who traded back 3 times, accumulate picks and move up with their other ones, still need all 3 of them. I would have liked to see them get like Omar Cooper, but I understand why they've moved back, and the edge is still there. They'll be able to get one of the edges if they want Howell, Zion Young, TJ Parker, and hopefully nobody moves in front of him for Rodriguez. I would love that to be the pick. And then Miami, we didn't talk about them. So Miami moved back 1 spot yesterday with the Cowboys. The Cowboys wanted Downs. They ended up taking offensive lineman. They took Caden Proctor, who is really a boomer bust player. You heard, if you're watching ESPN, Mel Kiper kind of say how underachieving he was. So, I mean, like if he is able to finally just dial in and become who his talent says he is, heck of a pick for Miami. And they got him while getting a few extra picks in the process. They obviously didn't want Downs. They had him right there and like, no, we don't want them to move back 1 spot. Got who they wanted and picked up, a 3rd and a 5th? They got 2 5ths, but for just moving down 1 spot. And then with their second pick, they moved up to 27 with San Francisco and got Chris Johnson, the corner. So they addressed two other biggest needs. They still need a receiver. They still need an edge. The Dolphins are sitting with the 11th pick in the second round. One of those receivers is going to be there. I think they should take Bell, the one from Louisville. If he's there, you're not doing anything this year. That no matter what they say or fans want to think, this is a rebuilding, retool year for the Dolphins. Getting somebody like Bell who doesn't have to rush back and who will be somebody that can grow with Malik Willis, I think be a great pick for them, and they would have knocked out three of their four biggest needs already. So that's the AFC East. Who are we going to pull up next? Next, we got the AFC North. Let's see what's going on with them. So the Bengals obviously no longer have the first pick, but they don't need a defensive tackle now either. They got that with the 10th pick. Dexter Lawrence, who they signed to a 1-year extension, so they got him for 3 years of control. They still need a linebacker and corner. They have the 9th pick in the second round. So the fact that only 2 cornerbacks were taken in the first round bodes really well for them. They're definitely, they need defense entirely, so they're going to have a good player fall to them. They can get Hood, who was there on night 1 to get drafted in the first round. Rodriguez might fall to them. TJ Parker might fall to them. So they're going to get a good defensive player with that first pick of theirs in the second round. The Browns, I liked what they did yesterday. They traded back from 6 to 9 with the Chiefs. And a lot of people had them taking Spencer Fano with the 6th pick. They still got him at 9 and picked up a 3rd and a 5th in the process. Shrewd moves there by the Browns. So they don't need offensive tackle anymore. They got arguably the best one in the draft. And then with the Browns' 2nd pick, where did they pick the other one? 24, they got KC Concepcion. They got a wide receiver. They knocked out both of their biggest needs. They still need a guard, but there's a lot of good offensive linemen left. Let's look who we got left at the offensive guard spot. Chase Besantis is still there from Texas A&M, the 2nd-ranked guard by ESPN, the 33rd overall ranked player. Emmanuel Pregnon, 47th ranked overall player. So some good guards left there where they can really knock out all 3 of their needs with their first 3 picks. And then just from that point, BPA, right? They can take whoever the best is, not worry about filling a need or man, we got to have him do something. The Ravens stayed pat. They didn't move up or down yesterday at 14. They took Ione, the guard from Penn State. A lot of people, myself included, thought they'd go Sadiq, but they go with the offensive line help. We have that as a 2nd-rated need moving into the draft. They'll probably be able to get a corner still with their the 13th pick in the 2nd round. And then the Steelers, they ended up taking Max Inchanchu from ASU. I'm sure I butchered that name. I apologize, Max. But that's a guy with so much potential from ASU. Hasn't been playing football a long time, but that means that he has room to grow. He's not a finished product, and he's already a 1st-round pick. And the Steelers are a team that really can develop that position. And they really needed it after the setback Broderick Jones had with his neck, the news of that came out. So that's the AFC North and how they stand at the moment. Move on. I think the AFC South will be next on our list. It is the AFC South. The Texans needed a guard, center, defensive tackle, offensive line just overall. They traded up from their pick to the Bills at 26 to get Kalen Rutledge, offensive tackle from Georgia Tech. So they knew they needed something. They traded up and got it. They still have the 6th pick in the 2nd round. So they can still get more offensive line help, which they need. The Colts will be making their first pick some point, one would assume, unless they trade it away. But they have the 15th pick in the second round. We have them needing an edge, a linebacker, and a wide receiver. We've already talked about all those positions. One of them is going to fall. Their wide receiver is very deep. They'll be able to get somebody. They traded away Michael Pittman. They have Josh Downs, brother of Caleb Downs, who was a first-round pick a few years ago. They need him to step up. They traded Adonai Mitchell to the Jets last year. I think it was part of the Sauce trade, if I remember correctly. But I think wide receiver, even though it's a listed third on our needs list, they definitely need to get someone to help, because Alec Pierce is going to be that guy now. They're paying him to be that guy. He's not going to be able to do it by himself. The Jaguars are going to make their first pick tonight. They have scheduled to make the 24th pick in the second round. So they're going to have to wait a little while to still make it. They need D tackle, edge, and linebacker. That seems to be a common theme. So I think that's why there's going to be a lot of movement tonight, is a lot of these teams need a lot of the similar things. Defensive tackle, edges, and linebackers are in demand. And D tackles fell to the second round. Linebackers fell to the second round. There's still a bunch of good edge rushers left who are projected to be first rounders. And then Titans round out the AFC South. They took a wide receiver in Carnell Tate. That's not they could use another one. I wouldn't take that need off the board at all. But Carnell Tate they took with the 4th pick. And then they also got they moved back into the first round, traded with Buffalo at 31. And they got Falk the edge out of, I don't remember where he's from, but they got Falk the edge. So they got edge and receiver taken care of. They still have, where are they going to be picking? The Titans do not have a second round pick now. The guy must have a third one. Yeah, they have the 5th pick in the third round. So unless they move up, the Titans fans will be waiting a little bit. But we're ready to close things out here, guys, on the pre-draft show with the Come On In Sports Network. This has been a special edition, special of the weekly wrap, which usually airs on 7 p.m. Eastern on Sunday nights. Myself and Dolph are usually there at the helm. It would just be me this week. Dolph's got his anniversary. Obviously, that is much more important. But make sure to stay tuned at the Come On In Sports Network. They'll be going with you live right at 7 o'clock for the second day of the draft rounds 2 and 3. They'll have all the picks. Dolph and Cowboy will be there at the helm. Thank you all for joining in. I'll be here on the post-draft show as well. So hope you all have a great night. Enjoy the draft. Have fun and hang out with us, and I'll see you later. As we always say at the Come On In Sports Network, the door is always open. So come on in.
Come On In Sports Network.